Hey, what's up, guys? How are you guys doing? So, basically, today is day one of our lockdown in South Africa. Okay. My child here wants the mic. You want the mic, son? So, we're currently on day one of the lockdown. So, basically, what the lockdown is that, well, we all know our beloved COVID-19 or coronavirus. It's kind of taken the world by storm, and it's really affected, I'd say, almost every single country in the world. And it not so long ago arrived in South Africa, and our numbers have, as of today, passed the 1,000 mark, and today we reported our first 2 deaths. So the South African government basically has issued the country into a lockdown, which basically means that everybody has to stay at home, and you're only allowed to leave your house for essentials, such as if you need to go to the doctor or the hospital, or if you need to go to the supermarket. And currently the only people that are working are essential services, so hospital staff, doctors, and some at the supermarkets, as well as some production facilities, so people that are like producing essentials such as food and so on. So basically they've issued a 21-day lockdown, and today is day one of that lockdown. So we are currently at home. I've actually been working from home for probably the last I'd say at least 2 weeks. I recently had traveled for work in Africa, and when I came home I needed to self-quarantine, so I worked from home while I did that. And then right after that it was announced as a national state of disaster. I don't know if I worded that right. And so everyone from our office had to work from home. So that was my basically week number 2. And then now we are on lockdown. So it's interesting times. I mean, we're just gonna have to see how these 21 days basically go. Being stuck at home and trying our best not to have to leave. So we hope we have like enough supplies to last us, but if necessary, one of us would have to go out to the supermarket if we need anything from that point of view. Yeah, we also have my boy at home, Halo. He normally goes to daycare, so he's also going to be stuck at home for 21 days, and I think that's also going to be interesting because where we live, we're basically, during the lockdown, you're not allowed to go jogging or walking or walk your dogs, so you're basically stuck in your house. So luckily we do have a garden. It's not the hugest garden, but it is sufficient enough, so we're going to have to come up with activities to keep him occupied because he's very high energy. So that's also going to be an interesting dynamic. Yeah, so I mean, I'm really hoping that it's only 21 days and that we manage to curb the spread, and honestly I'm hoping that for majority of countries that are under lockdown or under quarantine, that we can get through this time.
Day one of national lockdown. Mom decided to buy our little boy Halo a splash pool for him to keep himself occupied and energetic and play around in the sun in the pool. We're just filling up the splash pool and hoping he will enjoy it and have fun the way he does at doggy daycare. Let's see. Oh, leave that shoes. My shoes.
So for my guilty binge of today, other than actually doing some work, which I did, I've been guilty binging some Love and Hip Hop Miami. Ooh. And some Real Housewives of New Jersey. Clearly the drama's been with me today.
Hey guys, I'm just cutting up some pizza slices, some homemade pizza slices that we made. Really simple to make. Just buy some pizza bases at the shop. Layer it with some onion marmalade, gives it a lekker flavor. Cut up some fresh tomatoes, sprinkle that on top of the onion marmalade, sprinkle some mozzarella and some cheddar, and then some diced bacon over the top. Pop it in the oven for about 10-15 minutes until you feel it's ready, and then bam, lekker homemade pizza.
Okay, so we're kind of coming towards the end of day 1 of lockdown, and we just thought we'd come in and maybe just give our thoughts after the day and like what we're feeling. Halo's also giving his thoughts in the background.
Hello. Come here.
Yeah, he's giving his thoughts too. Okay, so I don't know. What are your thoughts of the day 1?
It feels more of the same as what we experienced in the last 2 weeks through the work from home policy. Only difference is you can sense a little bit of quietness in the air, so you don't hear the cars and the trucks driving around in the area. So it does seem like there's a little bit of quietness. Also kids in the streets and domestic workers in the streets, you can't hear them anymore. So it does seem as if at least our area, our community, they are taking the lockdown, the national lockdown, quite seriously. Although social media, there have been a couple of videos surfacing where people are still carrying on as business as usual. So people are still queuing up to go to the shops. There's still a lot of cars on the streets. I don't know if that's fake news from videos being taken previously from before the lockdown.
I don't think it's fake news, because I've seen some videos on actual news websites, so legitimate news websites and on the actual news, which I think is quite disheartening, especially because a lot of the places that are not enforcing the lockdown are more impoverished areas, so like our townships, and yeah, it's quite disheartening because it's not going to help the situation if people don't actually take this seriously. If only 10 out of 20 people take it seriously, it's not going to stop, it's not going to end, it's just going to keep going. And I think it's a difficult one because the areas in which people are not taking it seriously are the ones that would be the hardest hit if the virus were to end up there. And I personally just don't think that our healthcare system or any healthcare system in any country, regardless of where it is ready to manage that many people.
Yeah. And I think what will happen is that the government will be forced to send out the troops, the military, the army to patrol the streets instead of just only the police, which will be a bad situation. 'Cause knowing our army, their mentality is just skop en donder. So ask questions later and enforce the rules immediately. And we don't want that situation. We want this whole lockdown to be a peaceful situation, peaceful procedure, and it would be bad if the worst comes to worst.
Agree. But I mean, from our side, day one's been, I think, pretty fine. Fine and normal, and other than not leaving the house, I think it's been alright.
Highlight of today though, it's Friday, so the start of the national lockdown in South Africa, and what we did as a team, our work team, we had a Friday drinks all over Microsoft Teams. So we all dialed in video conference and had our drinks there, and that was quite a bit of fun to wind up the week. There was a lot of banter, a lot of cool jokes, just something different from a normal video conference where we're talking about work or talking shop. So that is a little bit of a nice thing to end off the week.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a nice thing to have, considering your life now working from home is a teleconference. It's literally all day, every day. Okay, well then I guess we will see you guys in day 2.